In this tutorial, we will be discussing the Exam 3 review for Chem 119. First of all, you need to know what a hydrocarbon is. Hydrocarbons have specifically hydrogen and carbon, and that's it. I know that we've talked about organic compounds in general having oxygen and nitrogen and things like that in it as functional groups, but that's not the definition of a hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon is just hydrogen and carbon. Next, you need to know the difference between stereoisomers and structural isomers. Stereoisomers are the thing on the left-hand side. Notice that it's a mirror image of each other. So nitrogen's in the front here, nitrogen's in the front here. CH3's in the back, CH3's in the back. You can't superimpose these. So the things coming off the carbon are all the same, they're just arranged differently around the carbon. Remember, when you're doing that, you have to have 4 different things coming off of that carbon. Structural isomers, however, have the exact same chemical formula, but it's arranged differently. Notice that the oxygen is in a different position in every single one of these structures. These are structural isomers. They're the same chemical formula, different arrangement. Whereas the stereoisomers are the same same chemical formula, but a different arrangement around the same carbon. Alright, you need to memorize all the functional groups. Hopefully you did this for the previous test, so this won't be too much of a strain. But alkenes, alkynes, alcohols, pay closer attention to the ones that we are going through in chapters 10, 11, and 12, and 13. But 13 is primarily carbohydrates, so you don't really have to worry about the functional groups for that chapter. Know how to name the different organic molecules that we've been discussing: alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, aldehydes, ketones, alcohols, ethers. For instance, this is a ketone, because if we look back up here, ketones are here. It's a carbon with a double bond oxygen with carbons on either side. Figure out how big our longest chain is. So it's 3. 3 is prop. So instead of propane, you take off the E, so it becomes propanone. Now, because this specific one only has 3, if the double bond was at the end, it would be an aldehyde, not a ketone. Therefore, we don't actually have to say what carbon is, but ordinarily you would have to say, like, if it was butanone, you'd have to say 2-butanone or something like that. Okay, this one, first of all, find your longest chain. It has to include that double bond. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is hex. Instead of hexane, because of the double bond, it's going to be hexene. Start counting closest to the double bond. So 1, 2, 2 hexene, 3, 4. There's a methyl group coming off the 4th carbon. 4-methyl 2-hexene. Again, find the longest chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once again, that's hexene. Ene, because it's a double bond, is on the 1st carbon. And on the 3rd carbon this time, it has a methyl group. Find the longest chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's pentene. 1 is on the 1st carbon. We have a methyl group here and a methyl group here. 2, 3, 4. So 3, 4, because there's 2 dimethyl. This is an aldehyde, not a ketone, because it's at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is pent. It's usually going to be pentane. We're going to take off the E and add an Al for aldehyde. This is another ketone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is hept. Instead of heptane, it's heptanone. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Either way direction you count it from is going to have 4 carbons. So I'm going to use the methyl group as a tiebreaker. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 heptanone, 1, 2, 2 methyl. 2 methyl, 4 heptanone. 1, 2, 3, it's an alcohol. So it's going to end in OL instead of AL this time. Is 3. So that's propanol. And it's off the first carbon, so it's 1 propanol. This is our last slide for review. First thing you want to do is figure out the longest chain. 4 is bute. So this is just butane. Because there's no double bond, there's no oxygens. Well, we have bromine, chlorine, and bromine. Start with the side that has closest to the first substituent, so that's to the right. 1, 2, 3. Now go alphabetical. 1, 3, dibromo. 2, chloro. Butane. Just as a review from alkanes in general, because there are a couple alkanes on the test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is hexane. We start from the side that's closest. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, dimethyl, hexane. And finally, we have an ether down here. We have a methyl group on the left and a methyl group on the right. Alphabetically, but because they're the same, it's going to be dimethyl. And that's the first part of your review.